Hello everyone, Firemac here, and I'm here to discuss my thoughts on the Destiny 2 gameplay reveal. I'm gonna keep it unscripted because I wanted to make this video nice and quick in response to the reveal. And since I had so much stuff going on in the background on the channel, I didn't really have a real video ready for you guys today. So first things first, I wanted to say the story looks like it has gotten a huge upgrade to what we have gotten before. Like, even with the most recent Rise of Iron and the original Destiny, it feels like, they've actually put in the effort to give us a good story with a lot more cinematics. What I didn't notice was our Guardians talking. Now, I know they're supposed to be an embodiment of us, so it's usually better to go the silent protagonist route, but here's the deal. Original Destiny gave all of them voices anyway, so what's the point of keeping them silent? So I kind of hope they do get voices. They just weren't prepared to show us that part yet, or they didn't want to show us that because this was a trailer for everyone to see. They didn't want to ruin it with their ideal version of a Guardian. Now, I enjoyed that they're actually giving more character to Zavala and Ikora, because before, all we really knew about them is that they were the stoic characters that didn't really do much or cared about much because they were very serious, and then that's all we had. But this time around, it looks like, well, they started off showing us with a little bit of a backstory for Zavala, which is pretty cool. Makes him stand out as a more, badass character, and I'm down with that. I like that, but he's still a very serious character in stark contrast to Cade. And Ikora looks like they're expanding on her some more because they're suggesting that after the tower falls, Ikora runs off and does her own thing. Like, she kind of disappears. But, they don't really keep it much of a secret, because later on in the presentation, they kind of showed us that she's hanging out in, I believe it was Io, the planet. I don't even want to call it planets, because from my understanding, actually, from the 3 new worlds that they showed us, one of them was for sure the moon of Saturn. I'm not entirely sure if the other 2 are moons, but they kind of feel like they are. I would have to do the research on that real fast to just do a little fact check on that. But it kind of feels like if they are moons, that kind of feels like a cop-out for new worlds to explore. So it's kind of meh. And I did notice that we're still going to Earth. We're finally visiting the European Dead Zone, which was hinted at largely in the Crucible maps. So that's cool. But going back to the story, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Like, they're adding even more characters, like, outside of the normal roster. Like, they kind of hinted at this one dude, which kind of looked like he was a sniper, and he was holding out in what looked like the church in Widow's Court, which is a Crucible map. That's what it looked like, but I can't confirm that. But I like that, and there's supposed to be some woman with I believe it was an eagle or a hawk of sorts. It was some sort of bird. But yeah, there's more characters. I like that. And it's, they're making things more robust in a cinematic way. So I expected that. But so far, I don't know what to expect on how good it's going to be. But I have high hopes. I'm liking what I'm seeing. But that's just so far with the story. They started showing us gameplay. Now, immediately, the first thing I noticed, besides the upgraded graphics, is that, they said this game was going to be incredibly different. Like, they wanted this game to be so very different from the original Destiny. And they made it sound like it was going to be super wild, like, complete gameplay overhaul kind of thing. And from what they showed us, it kind of really doesn't look that way at all. It's not entirely a bad thing, but it kind of dashes away my hopes of making the game more RPG like I wanted. But that's fine, because the original game plays fine. I'm just hoping they make the proper tweaks where it's necessary. I noticed every class is getting new supers, and I couldn't tell what it was, but in original Destiny you either got a melee and a grenade option along with your super. This time around, it looks like they're adding a 3rd ability. I can't say for what it is exactly, but I'm intrigued. And as far as the new supers, well, before I even go further than that, there better be more than just one new class for each character, because that'd be really lame for a sequel. So, but from what they initially showed us, I like what I'm seeing. The Warlock gets this solar sword where they just like fly up in the air and just rain down a bunch of sword slices. That's really cool. That makes me actually really want to play a Warlock, because that super's pretty damn cool. The Hunter gets this staff weapon and they get to like swing around. Like, if you know your superheroes, it's kind of like Daredevil or Gambit from the X-Men, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, then Titans, they get a shield and they go full on Captain America. And I really like that. I can't wait to run around and throw my shield around. It's gonna be amazing. But yeah, anyway, I like what I'm seeing for the supers. The new weapon, they show off some new weapon types. I didn't really catch them all, but there seems like there's a machine gun kind of. Well, machine guns we already had, but like this is kind of like a mini gun of sorts. It wasn't exactly a machine gun, but if you saw it, it rotated like a, like a Gatling gun would. In fact, that's probably what it is. Let's see what else. There was a grenade launcher. Really like that. I want to say there was something else, but it escapes me right now. But yeah, that's cool. There's definitely new weapons. I like that. As far as like new enemy classes and that, I mean, I know they really didn't want to show us too much, but all I'm seeing is the same things. All I see is the same legionaries. It's from the same Cabal enemies, same Vex enemies. There was like one little tidbit in one of the trailers they showed that it looked like there was a new enemy type, but for the most part, I'm seeing the same stuff. Like, this goes back to what I was saying. They made it sound like it's going to be so crazy different, but it doesn't really look like it, and it kind of makes me sad. They made a lot of great additions, don't get me wrong. A lot of things they're adding to this makes Destiny sound very exciting. They're getting rid of, what was it? Everyone's Bane, going back to Orbit, the infamous Orbit. We don't have to do that anymore, and we can go from world to world. Just go straight there. So instead of going back to Orbit and waiting there, now we just have to, I guess, just transfer from wherever we are to the other place. So it's one less loading screen, basically. Let me see, what else did I notice? It doesn't look like there's any space combat yet, which makes me sad. I kind of figured that was a shoo-in at this point. But maybe it's there, they just don't want to reveal it yet, because I feel like they are holding back a lot of information. They purposely held back on telling us about the raids. Well, the raid. It's going to be a raid. They purposely held back on that, because, they like to make a big deal about the raid. And I feel like they might be holding back some information, because, E3 is coming, and I feel like they're probably going to talk about that a lot more in E3. Not too much, but a lot more, enough to get us excited even more than we are already. Because, I don't know. Sorry. I'm processing so much because I just recently watched it and there's like a lot of information in my head. Like, I want to make sure I hit all the points about this presentation. They're adding a clan feature. They're bringing clans from, their website and into the game. So basically, dang, sorry guys, I'm trying to get my thoughts in order here. But basically, it sounds like they're starting to integrate stuff that we do outside of Destiny into the game. So I kind of hope this kind of is sort of hinting at integrating the Grimoire cards, integrating the loot, the vault system. Because the way they talked about it, we no longer have a vault because it's gone, it's destroyed. So I kind of feel like they're gonna give us more ways to basically just grab our gear wherever we want. I'm hoping that's what they're hinting at, because that would be a huge improvement over the vault, and basically many people's qualms with getting crap from the vault to begin with. Sorry, before I get sidetracked, let me go back to the clan thing. So now they're making clans more integral to the game, which is great, because now we get to represent our clans a lot more than we used to. So expect Rage Park. Sorry, I can't even say my own clan name right. Rage Spark in the game, because that's my clan, me and my 5 other friends that we started in Destiny, and we're hoping to grow those numbers, because they're really pushing for people who didn't really get a chance to play raids because they couldn't find 5 other people to play with. They're really pushing for those people to to play with other people. Now, they're not introducing a system where you can specifically ask other people to play in a raid, but they're introducing a unique matchmaking thing, where basically they're like, I want to seek out this clan to see if they're doing this activity, and you know, if you do that, and they'll pair you up, basically. So it's basically you get to choose kind of what kind of people you're gonna get linked up to. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. So that's the clan. I need to go back. They're hinting at a huge overhaul to the patrol system, and then the patrol system was basically the way you explore the worlds on your own. And it seems like they're overhauling that. So like, I need to back up. In original Destiny, the public events were always random, and you kind of hoped they were there. So there was like apps outside of Destiny, and that you could access to find out when a public event was happening at so place. Well, it sounds like they're bringing that into the game itself, which goes back to me saying that there seems like they're bringing in all these. The reason they're trying to eliminate the reason for these other apps to exist by just bringing it into the game. So that we're gonna be able to find out where an event is happening and where it is, and we can go to it. And they're adding what seems like what basically is side quests, because we should be able to find people in these worlds and talk to them and find different things to do. And the guy used the term dungeon, and with a boss at the end. So it sounds like we're getting legit dungeons. So it seems like we're getting a little bit of an RPG aspect in there, more than we did before, but who knows. But I am liking a lot what they're doing to the exploration. I'll probably be messing around with that a lot if it sounds as cool as they're making it sound. Now, as far as like stats and all that, it seems like that is largely the same, which I honestly thought they weren't going to bring that back, because the reason they were getting rid of all of our stuff was to give us a new fresh start. And I figured that was because they were overhauling like how the stats worked and everything. But from the few glimpses I saw, it seems like everything's the same. Like, you still have your basic overall level, and you have your light level, which is most likely tied to your weapons. And I don't like that at all. I was really hoping they would break away from that. So, I don't know. I mean, I really don't like that system. I hope it's not what it looks like. I hope they really did change that to some extent, because just going back to that is not fun. Having everything dictated by your armor setup and your weapon setup is not very good. Like, I go more detail on this on my top 10 list, but I'm just gonna leave that alone. It doesn't look like it's any different, and that kind of saddens me. They didn't talk about social spaces, which is another thing that kind of nerded me a little bit, because it feels like they didn't change that either. Because they usually don't talk about it, because they use this presentation to be like, these are all the things we're changing, and then everything else that didn't get mentioned kind of seems like they're just gonna keep it the same. So if that's the case, I'm not liking it. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, there was that one little clip where there was some guardian who kicked a soccer ball into a goal, and there was fire shooting out. Well, let me tell you something. That just looks like the same crap we've been doing, just they're just making it a little more flair to make you excited about it. Because there's people sliding around. That's something we could do in normal Destiny social spaces already. Just slide around into the ball, and now's your way of kicking the ball. And you know, if you happen to get into the goalpost, now there's fire. It did not look like an actual mode of any kind. It just looked like something that was there that you can mess around with. So that makes me sad. I really hope social spaces are not as bad as they're making it look. So I'm hoping we'll hear a lot more about that in E3. Oh, that's right. I gotta talk about, they're changing Crucible completely. It's no longer 6v6 and 3v3 modes. It is just a solid 4v4. And I'm not sure what to think about that. I mean, at one end, it kind of sucks for me and my clan, because we usually, when Iron Banner came around, if we got the chance, we would all 6 of us go into a game mode at once. But it seems like that's not going to be possible anymore, because I'm not even sure if I said it, but the 4v4 mode is across all modes now. And so that means no more 6v6. So that means a lot more downscaled. but they said they're making it a lot more focused on PvP players. I'm hoping that means they're finally separating PvE and PvP, but knowing Bungie, they're probably not. But at the same time, I'm hopeful, and it probably sounds like there's probably going to be a lot more Trials of Osiris kind of shenanigans where only the top tier PvP players can even potentially enjoy that kind of stuff. Which is a shame, because that kind of makes me feel like I'm left out. I mean, if I'm not good enough, then, you know, you're screwed. You're not going to be able to enjoy this. Because, you know, they just made it for the top tier player. And I'm not really a fan of that kind of mentality, where they just make something directly to the hardcore of the hardcore. That's like, I don't know. I guess some people wouldn't have any problem with it, because like, if it's not for you, just don't mess with it. I'm more of a person who likes to enjoy a game in its fullest, so I like to be able to access every little bit of potential content in a game. Like in a sense, I guess I'm saying I'm a completionist in a sense. Like if it's in the game, I want to be able to experience it, and if it's locked behind a skill barrier, I guess it kind of irks me a bit, because, you know, I do like completing things, but I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm not the most competitive player, so my skill is not gonna be there. I mean, I've honestly, Destiny, I played that game a lot, and I've gotten pretty good at the PvP, but I'm still not top tier good. Like, what was it? One of the PvP players they mentioned a lot, like, what's his name? Triple Wrecking Crew, something like that. I forget his name. But, you know, he's popular because he's a top tier PvP player. I am not. I mean, will never achieve that level of skill. So, but he will be able to enjoy stuff like, you know, the Trials of Osiris thing. He will be able to go to the lighthouse. But me, a more casual player, I guess, I hate using that term, because I'm really not, but I'm just not, I won't be able to be at that skill level, and it just locks me out, and that just irks me. That's a personal gripe, and it kind of sounds like that's what they're going for in this. And the way, okay, so anyway, let me move on from that. They mentioned strikes. Strikes are making a comeback. So are Nightfall strikes. But the way they kind of talked about it kind of made it sound like the Nightfall strike is going to be a special strike on its own. That's going to be separate from your normal strikes. So, like, it's a strike that only exists to be a Nightfall strike. That's what it sounded like. I could be wrong. They could be just saying their poor word choice, I guess. I don't know. But basically, this comes back to the idea that they made it sound like everything's going to be so crazy different, but in reality, it kind of sounds like it's kind of more of the same with just some changes. I mean, a lot of great changes. I mean, there is a lot of changes, don't get me wrong, but overall, it still feels like the same game. I mean, they changed Crucible, yes, but it's still Crucible. I mean, you're still doing what you would expect to do in Crucible. I mean, there's still strikes. You're still doing story missions. Like, none of that is really different from normal Destiny. Yes, there's new weapons, but, you know, you're still playing the same weapons. Oh, I kind of forgot to mention that. That reminds me. They supposedly changed the weapon types, so now you can... Luke Smith talked about it real fast. I want them to explain it a little more, but apparently you can use the same weapon in the secondary and kinetic... I believe he referred to it as the kinetic and energy slots. You could potentially have the same weapon in both slots from the way he talked about it. So, I don't know. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, like, everything kind of feels... Yeah, it's definitely not as crazy different as they're saying. Huge improvements. Yes, there's a lot of huge improvements. But overall, still feels like it's going to be the same exact game that we have been playing. I don't know. I mean, I just want to reiterate as much as I possibly can that it's not as crazy different as they're making it sound, but it is still different, you know. I know that sounds contradictory, but please understand how I'm trying to phrase this. Like, yes, it is different, but it's not to the degree that they were making it sound like. But I am excited for the future. Destiny 2 sounds like it's going to be a lot more accessible and a lot less stressful. I mean, I still expect that it's going to be BS difficulty in the raids, but it's going to be more manageable because if you get frustrated, you can probably find other people, even if that's unfortunately not your friends. That's kind of what I'm seeing is going to happen. Like, if I happen to get a little too frustrated with my own clan, I could potentially seek out other clans. and see if they can help me. Oh, crap. See, I just remembered something about clans, because there's a new system in the clans that where even if you don't get to play as much, everyone gets to share the rewards in a way. I mean, they made it sound like, I mean, you don't get to share the same rewards, but you're helping them reach the rewards. So it kind of sounds like, you know, if I do like all these amazing things on my own while they're too busy doing other things, the moment they log on, they're that much closer to achieving those goals on their own. So, but yeah, that sounds cool. I know, like, this is the problem with being unscripted. Like, I could have ended this video before, but then I remembered a new point and whatever. But sorry. So here's the thing. The beta is not coming until the summer, so that probably means this beta is going to show up at E3, or at least the date for the beta will show up at E3. And that's not that far off, but it still gives them about a little under a month to kind of prep that up. But speaking of like a beta, the people who were at this event will get to play Destiny 2 right now a little bit. They're going to get to play that opening homecoming mission. They get to play a strike, and they get to test out the new I believe it's Countdown? I forget the name. The new Crucible mode. So we're going to get a closer look into all of those. So I'm hoping to get more information than I got from the stream itself from people playing. I don't know if they're going to let people like take pictures on their own while they're waiting or whatever. Or who knows, or maybe take a video or whatever on like other people on other YouTube channels. I'm assuming we'll probably see some more information. So I'm hoping that they'll talk about it some more there, so I can see a little more under the hood. Because, like I said, I'm interested in the stats, like if they changed them at all, if there's more classes kind of, you know, they didn't want to show off but they're there. You know, I just want to see things that they couldn't quite show us, like the more nitty-gritty details per se, because that's what I'm interested in, and that's what I want to see. And also, I forgot, this doesn't mean much to me because I'm much more of a console player, but for the PC players, Destiny 2 will be available via Blizzard's Battle.net. So there's that. So yeah, I believe I covered everything I wanted to potentially talk about here. Sorry for being rambly, because this is I don't like doing unscripted stuff too much, but this was one of those special occasions where it was kind of, it was kind of like a hyped event. So I wanted to make this timely as possible, and due to what I'm doing right now on YouTube, I didn't really have time to make a more constructed video. So don't expect this too often is what I'm saying. This is kind of special occasion kind of deal. I wanted to just blab it to a microphone and show it to you. And this will probably go up today, because I don't think I want to wait till tomorrow. Try to take advantage of that time frame of people just looking up stuff of impressions and stuff, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think about Destiny 2 gameplay reveal. And then, yeah, let's hope things look better than they seem for me. But anyway, this is Firemac saying bye-bye. See you next time.